This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
Bill, let's play the coach. All right, we're going to play Flo, and then we'll play Tua. But let's go over Flo's comments today because there was a lot of good things in it today with Flo. Let's get into it. Go for it.
Hey, good morning, Flo. I guess Austin Jackson was out there back yesterday doing something at practice. What were you able to see with him for the first time out, and does he have a chance for Sunday?
Yeah, I mean, he was down for a few weeks, so we designated him for a return. Was out of practice yesterday. Went through a couple of drills. Obviously, like any player, when you're out for some weeks, there's a little bit of rust. So, just trying to knock some of that off. So, a couple of drills here and there, and we'll just take it day to day and see where it goes. But it's good. It's good to get him out there.
Adam.
Good morning, Brian. I wanted to ask you about your running back situation. We saw Breed obviously with the hamstring on the injury list yesterday, without Miles, and even Laird's a little dinged up. If it is Jordan Howard as your featured back, what has he shown you in the last month when he's been unable to play? Well, he hasn't been activated to play. What has he shown you that's given you confidence that he can be the guy on Sunday against the Cardinals?
Yeah, well, just so you guys know, Miles will go on IR today. Miles Gaston will go on IR. But yeah, we got some guys banged up. Jordan Howard, I think this guy he's always practiced hard. I think he's a good runner. That's why we brought him here. So he'll get an opportunity, and Salvo and Ahmed will get an opportunity as well. Patrick Laird, and we like our depth at that position. So those guys will get an opportunity, and they got to practice well, and hopefully they perform well in the game.
Now, you see, by the way, you notice how he said good runner? He didn't say good running back because he wasn't going to say good pass catcher, too. But listen, I don't know how hurt, how banged up Breida is. Maybe he's limited enough that they want to just kind of save him a little bit, and then they'll play him in the game. And obviously he's still talking of Laird, so maybe Laird also can contribute, and one of the guys there, little Mike, 551, he was talking about how Big O, he might be motivated, but he doesn't fit our one-cut scheme like Bowden and Merritt. But the problem is those Bowden and Merritt aren't really every down backs. They're kind of scat back type guys. So this is look, in a way, what you're going to do is if you can play Laird, you'll play him some. You'll play Howard, maybe 10 to 15 rushes, and then you'll play the other guys coming out of the backfield, a run or two, a jet sweep, maybe a little wildcat, which I don't know. It might work maybe a little better this week than last week against that defense. But I can see them trying all those kind of things to kind of keep the Cardinals off balance. Will it be a traditional, type of offense where you're just pounding them with the rock? No, of course not. They don't have that back anyways as it is. But I can see them kind of mixing it up with the guys that they do have, and then Jordan being the guy that at least gets the bulk of the carries, but more in a conservative fashion than anything else, unless he's breaking tackles and making things happen that all of a sudden they can say, okay, keep feeding the big guy because he's really punishing them. So it'll be interesting. Go ahead.
For once, it wasn't my Wi-Fi that stunk. I wanted to ask you about Antonio Callaway. You said that you hadn't seen him in cleats. You have now. How did he perform, A? And B, through this process, what he's been through, why are you confident that he's going to take advantage of this opportunity when he hasn't?
It was one practice, so yeah, I've seen him in cleats now. I've seen him in a helmet. Look, he worked hard in practice yesterday. The opportunities I've had to spend with him, he's excited about being here and being able to practice and play football. So, when you have someone with that type of attitude, you hope the best for him. And look, he's got to do the work. So, it's not really what I think doesn't matter. It's about, his work ethic and his ability to take advantage of this opportunity. So,
Joe?
Hey, good morning, Flo. Obviously, you just mentioned Howard, Ahmed, and Laird. Does that mean that Breida is unlikely, or does he still have a chance?
no, I mean, obviously he's dealing with doesn't mean it really doesn't. I just didn't mention him. He's still got a chance. I mean, it's hamstrings are tough, so we'll see how this goes throughout the week. But again, we like the depth at that position, and we'll see how it goes.
Cam?
Yeah, sorry, I think my computer crapped out there. I was trying to ask Michael Brockers had talked about your cover zero blitzes that you guys were running against them. He said he had never seen it so frequently. What is it about your personnel this year that allows you to be comfortable and running that with that frequency?
I think Josh has done a good job as far as game planning and trying to put guys in position to have some success. And we ran some zero blitzes a year ago, and I think everybody has them. So I don't think we're doing anything that's different than a lot of other teams. So I think it's about execution. It's about preparation. It's about getting comfortable doing things in practice. Whether it's a zero blitz or 8 people in coverage. Any way you slice it, you got to execute. And that's a week-to-week thing. So again, that was last week. And really, we got a tough test this week against the Cardinals. So,
Ruthie?
Good morning, Flo. Can you talk a little bit about just the challenges that come with facing a team that's coming off a bye? And obviously they picked up some pretty big momentum before the bye, beating the Seahawks in overtime, and just kind of how they'll be rested and what that does for you guys.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good football team. That's the biggest test. And then, they're coming off a bye, so they've had a lot of time to watch us, study us, and come up with a game plan. They got good coaches, so more time is always a good thing, as a coach. So you can dissect, what the opponent is doing a little bit more with a little bit more. You just have more time to dissect it and find something that you think will work. So look, they're a good team. I mean, they're talented and well coached, and this will be a tough test. It will be a tough test on. If they played last week, it's an even tougher test that they had, last week off. So they'll be fresh. They'll be rearing to go.
Safid?
Hey, good morning, Flo. We talked about the drops that Preston Williams had on Sunday, and also you had 2 really good catches in that game as well. When a player like that is giving you good plays and maybe having some plays where it doesn't go his way, how do you? I don't think Preston probably needs it, but how do you just make sure that he stays level-headed and committed to coaching and doing the basics to make sure those plays happen for him in the future?
I mean, I think you just, as a coach, you want to be encouraging, but at the same time, you have to let players know it's important that they execute, and that's part of the execution: throwing, catching, blocking, defeating blocks, tackling, breaking tackles. I mean, that's all part of the execution. So the things we work on a daily basis. It's important to execute. When we don't, it doesn't work out. He's disappointed. We're disappointed. Look, I mean, Preston, I can yell at him all I want. He's probably going to, be more upset than I am. So I think part of it for him is, helping him move forward and move on to the next play, because we need to do that also. And every player is a little bit different. So, I think we just continue to work on, catching the football and route running and route technique and all those things, and move on from any let's call it negative plays.
All right, we have 2 more. We'll go to Adam.
Even 10, 15 years ago, there was a stigma over players, quarterbacks 6 feet and under. I mean, you had to be 6'3", 6'4", 220 was the prototype. Obviously, this weekend, you're going to have 2 top 5 quarterbacks that are 6 feet and under. Had that, has thinking in your mind changed, or has just the industry changed when identifying and thinking about quarterbacks in a different light?
I mean, I think, look, good players comes in all shapes, sizes. So I think there's people have their prototypes, let's call it, at each position, and some have them at quarterback and O-line and D-line. But I think there's good players. There's been good quarterbacks who are short. There've been good quarterbacks that are tall. There've been good, I think good players are good players are good players. Well, I mean, now that you mentioned, the quarterback, well, there's, a couple of things out there. Let's call it a source close to Dolphins thinking, saying that, we're auditioning, Tua, and I'm just going to tell you about my thinking. We brought Tua here because we believe in him, same as all the other draft picks. We believe in developing players, and I think you guys have heard me talk about the improvement of players on a daily basis. That would be the opposite of giving somebody a 10-game audition. So I guess that's my thinking on that, just so everybody's clear. What was the rest of your question?
All right, well, hold it there, because that's good. I'm glad because again, that's that stupid report from ESPN. They're giving a 10-game audition, and I'm glad he addressed it and talked about it, because he's been showing us for a year and a half that he's into young players because they want to build a foundation. They're into coaching players up and making them better and help them play, whether it's Preston Williams off the street, right? Whether it's Michael Dieter last year, who did not come through, and I don't know, maybe the next time he plays, but it's Robert Hunt, it's Austin Jackson, it's Solomon Kinley. You understand? To them, they don't care. But if they can get a young guy to play, Christian Wilkins, and draft him and develop him, they'll do that. And they'll play Godchow, and they'll play all those kind of guys. They'd rather draft their own, develop their own, than go out and buy guys. And they had to buy guys this year because they had to fill positions in because they wanted to be competitive. But overall, they have proven over and over and over and over again that they want to play their young guys, dude. The guys that they draft, the guys that they sign that are undrafted guys, those are the guys that they want to develop and play. That's who they've been. So to think that you're going to draft somebody number 5 overall and you're going to decide their entire fate on a 10-game audition when it took Drew Brees 4 years to become a real quarterback. You know how stupid that is? You know how many quarterbacks look terrible their first year? So then under ESPN's philosophy, Miami would have cut Peyton Manning because he threw 25 interceptions. So I'm glad he addressed that stupid-ass statement and report from ESPN, and I'm glad that he went out of his way to rip it. Go ahead.
You just kind of piqued something that'd been on my mind.
Oh, if you want to continue on that, that's far more interesting than my bad question was. But I was just asking about quarterbacks that aren't 6'3", 240.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's about, the talent level of the quarterback, leadership, things of that nature. So there's the intangibles. There's a lot more to play in that position than, height, weight, and speed. So as well as every other position.
Final question, Omar.
It's hard for me not to piggyback on that. Obviously, you started Tua because you needed to see or wanted to develop him. So you're comfortable with what comes out of these 10 games?
Yes, I'm comfortable with what comes out of these 10 games. I think since I've been here, I think everybody's heard me talk about the development of players, improvement on a daily basis. So I just don't see how someone close to Dolphins thinking could say that this would be a 10-game audition. That's just not sure where that came from. So just put that out there.
There you go. There you go. That's the coach. I mean, it's just, Oh man, I tell you, sometimes, you deal with these kind of things, and you kind of just scratch your head, from all of this, because you wonder, like, where do people actually get this stuff? Who gives them, this idea that this is what they want to do, and that you're going to treat a player this way?
You know what I think is more of an issue now? You tell me if I'm wrong, because 30 years, obvious. But, I mean, when watching, being involved in sports. Bro, if a narrative comes out, people run with it now, no matter what it is.
Right.
Right?
It's the lazy thing, like, it's tanky.
Man.
Well, everybody says tanky.
Back in the day, this stuff would die on the vine. It would,
Right.
you know what I mean?
But it wasn't around for 24 hours. You could actually sit on something for a day, and you could still break the news. Now you got news, you better get it out right away, because in 5 minutes, somebody else is going to find out, and somebody else.
That's old hat. That's old hat. It was 5 minutes ago.
And they got to move it around, But that's what's going to happen. I love it. And let me tell you something. I like the Dolphins this weekend. I do. I think it's fantastic. I think the Dolphins are going to be shocking people all over the place. I don't think that it was a running game that wasn't scary in the first place. So why would I worry about it now? You know what I'm saying? It wasn't as scary. So it might get better this weekend the way they have it. You never know. By using Jordan Howard and Lynn Bowden, it might be better. It might be better by using Jordan Howard and Bowden and Laird as weapons on the outside. I don't know.
Is this a lot about our secondary and how we can match up with their guys one-on-one?
And it's about the quarterback and the wide receivers and the tight ends and all that kind of stuff. Those guys are going to all have to step up. But then again, the running game hasn't been.
It's been 3 yards, but
it hasn't been scary anyway.
Keep teams honest, right?
Yeah.
Give them that look,
Right.
But I mean, how many runs have we had for 5+ yards?
A few.
Yeah, not a lot.
Not a lot.